Hey, it's good to have you back here on my YouTube channel. So this is part 6 of a 6-part series called How to Practice Improvisation the Right Way. And I have to add to this, there is no right or wrong way. This is just the way that works best for me and for my students that I'm sharing here. So in this 6th part, I want to talk about mentorship. We already talked about building your foundations and what these foundations are. We talked about building your improvisational toolkit, your devices that you're going to use, how to play. And we talked about the art of jamming, how you can really jam to get better, but do it with focus and intent. We talked about studying the masters. I gave you some examples of the guitarists that deeply influenced my playing. And I talked about Jimi Hendrix and his unique role, I believe, in the development of the rock guitar vocabulary and general what rock guitar playing is today. I think Hendrix had a lot to do with that. And then we also had an episode about refinement. I mentioned some of the theory that I consider must know theory, if you want to grow. And a lot of it really was more like layman's theory, like stuff to know. So that was the last episode. And today I want to talk about mentorship, my thoughts about having mentors. If I think of my own mentors in my musical story, why I think that eventually having a mentor or having a great teacher is really the best thing you can do for your playing. Yeah, that's really what this episode is all about. First of all, maybe it helps you to understand that I have 2 degrees in music and I went through a whole lot of training on my musical path. A part of it was not so voluntarily, a part of it was to honestly just show my parents that this musical journey was what I was meant to do in life. And both my parents being in academia, that was just the ultimate proof that by getting a master's degree in music, that music was the thing for me. And not only did I enjoy to play in bands, but I actually could back it up with an academic degree. Also, I have to say that, I couldn't really plan it that way, but getting my first degree in Austria while I was still in Austria actually opened the door for me to come to the United States. And just being in Austin, Texas and playing there with so many great musicians transformed my musical expression. So I really owe it to doing that degree that I ended up in the States. In that sense, you never know what you get yourself into until you really do it and you really get started with it. So it's good to take chances in your musical development, your musical journey. If I think back, there was maybe 6 highly influential people or teachers that really shaped my path. And I don't want to go into detail. Some of the stories are very personal too. But all I can say is that if it wasn't for those 6 mentors, if I didn't have those, I wouldn't have this YouTube channel. I probably wouldn't have founded TGT Academy, and I definitely wouldn't have recorded 9 albums. So a lot of the work that I have done in music wouldn't have been possible without mentors. So in that sense, it's very clear for me that, what I want to tell you here today is that getting someone to guide you and to show you things that you don't know currently is one of the best things you can do for your musicianship. Let me explain why. Because music is not just knowing something, or music is not just knowledge. Music is a living art form. It's literally an exchange of energy, if that makes sense. So if I play a note, if I play, it was more than one note. But this is an emotion and energy that when you listen to it, it's going to tell you a certain thing. It's going to tell you a certain thing about me. It's going to make you feel a certain way. And this exchange of energy, basically when we improvise, the way I look at it, it's just my personal view. When we improvise, we're basically sculpting the energy that we're exchanging, yeah? With our phrasing, with our timing, with all the little aspects of our performance, we are shaping and controlling the energy. So basically, getting a teacher or getting a mentor is basically like getting someone that helps you to shape that energy even more concise and more precise. And this is something that you can only partly do yourself, I would say. Yeah? You can learn all the skills. You can learn, you can work on your synchronization. You can do all the technical things and you can learn the theory. I don't necessarily think you need a teacher for that. But for shaping the energy and also having someone that, has an artistic outlook on your playing, someone who feels a certain way about the stuff that you're playing and then can give you feedback on it. This energy feedback loop is really irreplaceable. It really is. And some of the things that are happening when you work with a great teacher, they go beyond stuff that you can say. If you ever remember a moment where you hear a certain thing that strikes you emotionally, yeah, it just comes to my mind, yeah, like one of my first teachers, I was 16. His name was Steve Marchison. He played me one lick, and I just wanted to know how to get that emotion of that lick. Yeah? The lick went something like this, I think. I just want to know how to get this, expression. And now, like how many years, like 25 years or almost 30 years later, I still have that emotion and that lick in my system. Yeah? It's like stored in a good place in my musical brain. Yeah? And this is stuff that you cannot pick up out of a book, yeah? Because studying a book cannot make you feel a certain way. Maybe watching a video can already make you feel a certain way. It's a little bit better, yeah? But it's really, and I'm convinced of this, it's really the exchange of energy that will help a player to shape their musical expression in a particular way. And so I do think it's very important that you study with someone that plays the way that you want to sound. That doesn't mean that you want to be a copy of that person, but it means that something in their playing, in your teacher's playing, is something to be desired of. And, it's not like, let's make an example. If you just study classical guitar with an amazing classical guitarist, but really you want to play rock, that's not going to go very far. Yeah? That exchange of energy is not going to happen. Even if you think what you should do is learn classical guitar, you're not going to stick with that. Yeah? So I think the passion factor and the factor of doing what you love the most really goes a far, far way. Yeah. Of course, there's a danger here now that, some of the people that are awesome artists and they play amazing, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be great teachers. Some of the roughest teachers I had were performers that were pretty horrible teachers, but, I just loved their style. So I was still able to get out something out of their just being around them. Yeah. But that's also not ideal, yeah. Especially if you're not that confident and if you don't know that much about music already, then this can be a dangerous situation, where you like infiltrate it in a way. Or some of those guys are even mean. I had some mean teachers too in my musical path. So fortunately, already knew a lot about music from playing piano and learning another instrument. It wasn't so easy to convince me of stuff that I couldn't verify from the stuff that I already knew. But so that's, if I would think of what are the aspects in getting a good mentor and what to look out for, I would sum it up like this. I would say musical qualification. Listen to the way they sound. You gotta love the way they play. Very important. Next, qualification as a teacher. Can they explain subjects in a way that you can actually understand them? There might be some teachers that, they know a lot about teaching, but they still might not be able to explain it in a way that you can understand it. So that's also very important. Number 3, availability. I think it's very, very important. You can have the best teacher in the world. If she is not available or is constantly on tour, then you're not going to get a lot out of this, So someone that makes him or herself available for you and actually takes the time, spends time with you, reviews your homeworks, see what you're doing, that's very, very important. And maybe that leads me to my last point here. Having a mentor, having a teacher that cares. And that's almost like a personality trait that cannot be trained. You either care or you don't. I see a lot of guys, girls, mainly guys, teaching that, they teach on the side, they're performers, so they just want to teach on the side. And typically the lesson starts like, hey, what have you been working on last? Yeah, show me what you got. And it's basically just about spending that hour or that half hour with the student so you can get your check and be done with it and move on to your gig. And if you have a teacher like that doesn't truly care about what you really want to achieve, then that's not going to be a successful exchange of energy. It's a two-way street, by the way. If you're a student that doesn't really care and doesn't really have a drive to sound a certain way, then also that the best teacher is not going to get much out of you. Yeah? So these are kind of like, it's almost like energetical laws of the universe that need to be in place in order for this energy transfer to work, basically. Yeah? So if you have never worked with a great teacher before, if you have never experienced what it's like to just follow a step-by-step process in learning, where you have someone that can tell you exactly what the steps are that you need to take, you have someone that can give you exact feedback on everything you present, when you finish practicing and you show it, that can give you feedback and help you to make this better. And like we talked in the last part, help you refine and strengthen and build your sensitivities in all the areas, rhythmically, pitch-wise, tone-wise, harmonically. If you've never done this, then you're missing out massively, and you should do this. I'm not telling you here that you should start working with me or so. We actually have limited places in our TGT Academy, but I can do the best next thing. So I do want to invite you to click on the link below and fill out an application where you just give me some information about your particular guitar journey, of where you are exactly, and also give me an idea what your goals are. And I'm not going to make any promises. This video is going to be on YouTube forever, maybe. I I don't know how we're going to continue with the TGT Academy. The thing is, we are a boutique guitar academy. So boutique in meaning we care about quality and not about the quantity so much. We work with a limited number of students, and I'm personally listening to every student on a weekly basis, to all the homeworks. I can only do this if the number is limited, obviously. Yeah? So just to be considered and to raise your hand and tell me that you might be interested to get a teacher like me, because we also have some secondary teachers. I have a right-hand Bart and other teachers working at TGT. So, there's some other great guys too that can help you in our organization. And just to signal that you are interested to work on that level, I'll ask you to fill out that application. We might then ask you to send us a video of your playing. We might also ask you to schedule a Zoom call with us. That all depends on what's in that application and if we feel that we can help you. There's also a bunch of resources that we have in our whole Academy members area. We might just send you some resources that are really helpful for what you're looking for. So please take some good time, fill out that application. So if you've been watching this whole series and you got a lot of value out of it, then I can guarantee you're going to get a ton of value out of working with us. We'll never know what's going to happen, yeah? We have so much going on at TGT. We got live events happening and workshops with world famous guitarists. So it's all a matter of you wanting to take the next step and move inside of our inner circle in our TGT Academy and not just be someone watching on what I'm doing here on my YouTube channel. So if that is you, then wait no longer. Fill out that application down there, send it to me, and someone in our team will get back to you. Yes, that's all for today. I'm not going to do much playing here in this episode. If you haven't seen the other parts of this 6-part series, I just can urge you to go back there. I'm going to put the link up there with the whole playlist of all 6 parts. So go and check out the whole list. I think it's going to be highly valuable for you. There is no limit to the growth possible with your guitar playing. There's so many puzzle pieces that are still waiting to be discovered. And I'd love to help you to get closer to the place where you want to be. I feel you've come to the right place. If you've watched until here, then this is the perfect place for you to be. And I cannot wait to hear what you've got going and how I might be able to help you to go much, much further. In that sense, your biggest fan, Ulrich Allison. Keep on rocking. Talk soon.